Today we're going to go through the 3-point inspection and tune-up on the iQ362. And we'll start with the brushes. So the brushes are real easy to change, and we recommend you to be checking these every year and at minimum changing them every 2 years. So we remove this cap with a screwdriver and pull this little brass tab out, and there's your brush. So if you compare it to a brand new brush, you can see this one is about, not quite half worn out. So we can go ahead and replace that. You definitely want to replace it when it gets to be about 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch long, because if you don't replace it and the commutator runs against this brush and the commutator starts running against these metal parts, it'll ruin the commutator, and now you got to replace a lot more parts and it gets more expensive. So change the brushes more often than not. So we insert a new brush into the slot here. And hold it down with your finger and you slide the cap back on. Get it started and then tighten it up with your screwdriver. And you do the exact same procedure with the one on the back side. Right here. The other thing we're going to look at today is the louvers. The louvers should be changed out about once a year. These ones here are not too bad, but we're going to go ahead and change them. Let me show you an example of an older set of louvers. See how these are much more worn out? A lot wider. And what happens if you don't got good slot close to the blade, you start losing dust collection. And that's what these are for. That focuses your dust collection. So you want to keep a good set of louvers in. At least once a year, change out your louvers. So remove the table and turn it upside down. And the louvers have these little tabs here. So you need a kind of a small screwdriver and pop that tab and kind of ease it down. Then there's a tab on the other end. Ease that down, and do that with all of them. Make sure it pops off. Keep going down the tabs, popping them loose and pushing them down. Then you can turn the table back over. So now we release the tabs, now these things will just pop right out. And you notice there's 2 of the same kind and 1 that's a different kind. So let's get our new louvers. That's the back louver, and then the front 2 are the same. So we'll set these aside. And you want to just come in here and line your louvers up with the ribs on the table. And you just push them down to where you hear a snap. Just like that. Same with this one. And then this one. There, your louvers are they're all brand new. You notice that the slot is gone, so your first cut, you'll cut a brand new slot, and that'll be right tight to the blade. It'll make your performance in the dust collection much better. Now the third thing we're going to check is the filter. And again, we want to be changing these filters every year. Change that filter for best performance. So you got 5 screws here on the filter cover, and just simply go in and take each one of them off. These are a 3mm Allen. Okay, then you just grab the filter cover and the handle and kind of wiggle it, and it'll come right out. You take the knob off, remove the cover and then pull the filter out and set that aside. So get your filter box, open it up, pull your filter out, open the bag, and you notice there's 2 tabs in there. You only need one, but we provide an extra one just in case it breaks or you lose it or something. So hang on to that extra tab. So you want to remove this little label here and then check the seal here, make sure it has grease on it. If it doesn't, you can just add a little bit of white lithium grease on it. That helps it spin a little easier, and then you insert it in the machine. With a screwdriver, push down on the tab that's on the front of the mount there, the tab mount, and then slide it back, and that'll release the tab and it slides back and you pull the tab out. Take the new tab, just slide it into the slot, push it in, and you hear that little click, and that locks it in place. Now insert the filter. Should go over the spindle. You kind of give it a spin, and then grab your cover, get it located, and put your knob back on. And you want to make sure your labels are on the down side here, and line up your screw holes. So there you go. You do that once a year and your saw will stay in tip-top shape. You want to change those brushes out, at minimum check them every year, but at a minimum change them every 2 years. And while we're at it, we can talk about the vacuum brushes. Pretty much the same thing. You want to check those about every 2 years, but they'll run a little bit longer, but those can also be changed. So we changed the louvers out, so you got a fresh set of louvers and also a fresh filter. So now you're ready for the season. Remember to do that once a year. Springtime is good.